content creation, and all of you are in it, so a lot of this stuff will make sense. But I think the first thing that I think about always is self-awareness. I think the biggest issue for content creators is them being inspired by someone else and then them subconsciously, not even consciously, subconsciously trying to be like that person, which is an incredibly difficult task because every one of us in this room, me included, have strengths and weaknesses in their ability to create content. So I think there's a couple things to think about. One, your own self-awareness of what you're good at. For example, I'll give you one. I think the concept of writing content is like forgotten in a visual world, yet I can tell you that some of my written content on LinkedIn is dramatically more profound and does well than my clips on TikTok or Instagram. And there may be people in this room whose strongest method of communication is actually in written form, yet the push towards short form video or images make them work on that when they're deviating from a strength. So I think first and foremost, what I think about is a couple things. And they're all in the form of transparency and self-awareness. One, what are you best at communicating? Is it audio, video, written form? Two, the thing that has kept me in a very strong position from the earliest wine videos I made to what I'm gonna do tomorrow is I have never talked about something I don't know, ever. I think when you're a content creator, you feel pressure to output. And when you feel pressure to output, you can get very caught to start talking or creating around something you may not fully understand. A lot of people come and go, and there's some very clear truths to having success. And I think it's one, understanding your format while still trying to challenge yourself. You may be better at writing. It's still good to try to be better at video, but it's not crippling yourself and thinking you can only be successful if you do video. Two, do not deviate from your knowledge. Now, that doesn't mean going, like, look at me, I'm talking about NFTs. I spent 100 hours of research before I made my first video, but putting in the work to be able to talk about something new is very important. The quickest way I've seen people lose is by being too quick to talk about things they don't know. Very important. Number three, a very big thing for everybody to keep in mind here, do not fall in love with the platform that got you there. A very big thing that I've seen consistently in the last 15 years is Twitter was your strong platform, here came Instagram, and you didn't want Instagram to become big because you didn't want to start over and build up your following count. So many, and this is gonna make sense for all of you, so many leaders on Instagram made a huge mistake by not adopting TikTok, right? They didn't want to because they had all their followers. Constant mistake, being too romantic about platform and not adjusting to where the attention is actually going. People overthink positioning. Like, I talk a lot lately about don't be an expert, be an enthusiast. Everyone's losing in content right now because they're like, I'm an expert. And then we are like, you're not, and it's over before you start.
That's right.
Right? I've never said I was an expert, and I actually am in the shit that I talk about. I did 15 years of wine before I talked. I did 30 years of business before I talked, and never say the word expert. You know why? Because I'm not insecure about it, I am it. Everybody else.
So practitioner would be the word that I would
correct,
out, right?
Right?
Well, I'm a practitioner.
So what I think you need to do is not worry about positioning. When, back to, you're right, too many people worry about the positioning because they think that's the thing that gets it done. It's not. It's the truth that gets things done. Whether you're an expert or enthusiast or influence, people are like, I'm not an influencer. I'm like, cool. Like, people call me everything. I think I'm a fucking motivational speaker? I do not think I'm a motivational speaker. Do I think many people position me? Sure. All of it's irrelevant. It's all about what the actual truth is. You are actually not just a tenant. You are a beacon of the community. you're all these things. And when you start talking, then things happen. I was on 2 meetings, I'll give you an example. I was on 2 meetings today, both which were clients that don't know me. They know my teams. I was in 2 of them today, which is not that often, by the way, that this happens. We're getting bigger and bigger and bigger where I'm not the only one selling clients in, and I rarely service clients. So I was in 2 ironically today, it made me think of it. Do you know what my takeaway was from both meetings? Oh shit, Gary really knows what the fuck he's talking about. He's not just the mascot of this company. That wasn't me positioning. I didn't start the meeting with like, I'm the CEO. Like, I just talked for 30 minutes or went back and forth. Get a seat at the table with no positioning. I'm JD.
That's what it is.
Right,
That's
I'm
right,
JD,
yeah.
Motherfucker. That's who I am. But when you
That
talk.
works for me, actually.
I know it does.
I just also often.
But you gotta remember.
We'll also ask you to leave.
That's fine too, but you gotta remember, for all of you and for everybody who's watching at home, if they were able to watch this, it doesn't matter what your title says. It matters what you do. When you say something, do you back it up? And so don't overstress how you're positioned, just talk that talk. Here's why it works. If they're smart, they'll know. I win with smart winners, and I lose with dopey losers. If somebody's confused about my merits after I'm done talking about a subject, that's not on me, that's on them. And honestly, I use it as a filter for me. And by the way, sometimes it doesn't land for me, and I walk out and be like, because I never talk about anything other than exactly what I know, so if it doesn't land, there's some political reasons they don't want to hire us or work with me or like what I said. There's some other things going on. That's not my worry. I'm not in the business of convincing. I just move on.
That's great. That's very encouraging. That's actually true to my actual way, but I just feel like I've been beating on these doors so long. I'm like, it's
I get
frustrating,
it.
right?
Listen,
and
I continue to be talked about as the wine guy, an influencer, a motivational speaker, and I'm building some of the biggest businesses. Like, I'm building the most successful advertising agency in the world. Nobody even knows I have a job. Everyone's like, one of the top 10 searches is, what does Gary Vee actually do? Like, you know, so like, fuck that noise. Like, people are gonna judge, you know, like, it's irrelevant what people think before you start talking. It's important what people think after you're done talking your truth. Sometimes it's not gonna land because they don't care what you have to say. They have a financial incentive, a political incentive. They've already decided who they want to play your role, and that's just life.
Yeah. Awesome.
I mean,
really
we lost a recent,
encouraging.
I'll give you a good one. We lost a recent pitch. It was fire. I was so proud of my team. And like, I was baffled by it for a few minutes. And then like somebody walked by and was like, oh, the agency they picked is the son-in-law of one of the partners. I'm like, oh.
They just had to have the 2 other bids or whatever.
Yeah, I'm like, I wish we knew that before we put in that work, but cool, like Mazel Tov. Like that's, of course, like that doesn't bother me at all. That's life. I live in this studio apartment with 8 family members. I watched my family live the American dream through hard work. I worked 15 hours a day when I was 14. Like literally my dad should go to jail for child labor. Like, and what gets me going in a setting like this is it's the reverse of the joke I made of like, I don't care about your business. I do care. I want it for you because it's there. Like it's so much, you know, like a lot of people get complacent. They're like, you know, they're like, Gary, I don't want to put in the work for this. Like, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. I mean, live your life, but a lot of people want to grow. How many people here want their business to grow? Raise your hand. You know, I mean, it's real. Like the thing I made earlier of like, you came here, what the hell if you don't want it to grow, you wouldn't be here. So to me, don't do shit to check the box. Don't make yourself feel good because you came to a fucking conference in DC. Go and do something about it. And to me, this is so sitting there, and if you're doing 800,000 a year in revenue in service local business, I know for fact, if you give me 100 hours of your time and effort on this thing, that becomes 1.6. And that, I took my family business from a $3 million to a $65 million business in 8 years. I know what that does for a family. I bought my car at a garage sale. My brother, who's 11 years younger, my parents bought him a Lexus. I'm pissed. but I know what it does to a family. And so like, I'm desperate because it's literally right there. It's literally right there. Make content on LinkedIn. Make content that's not sales pitch, make it informational, post every day. How do I post every day, Gary? Start a fucking podcast. Interview people. You don't even have to prep. Hey John, how'd you start your bagel store? Do it.